Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you Irons!
West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! West Ham are massive, everywhere we go! Everywhere we go!
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the West Ham Massive. Thanks for joining us. Please don't forget to like, comment on and share this stream to your socials. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. All these things take a couple of seconds of your time, help to grow the channel, and are free of charge to you. Thank you very much indeed for your support. So we're here to discuss the game that's going on at London Stadium this afternoon. Hopefully I shall be there. Everton are the visitors. So let's get straight into it. As you'll notice, I'm on me Jack Jones today. I'm on my own. So audience participation is key. So if you're there, don't be shy. Get your comments in as we go along, your thoughts, your musings, and we'll try and drill down into it and have a little bit of fun. Because it's not a very... Let's be honest with you. There's not a lot of fun around being a West Ham fan right now. It has to be said. There is quite a lot of doom and gloom going around. So let's try and have a little bit of a laugh if we can. Why not? So get your comments in. Okay, so let's start. I'll also put this up on the ticker. I haven't had time to maybe do a few of the other little tickers that go along the bottom. I just haven't had a chance. I've had a really, really busy week this week, one thing and another. So, but I have done this. I have done the presentation, which I normally do. So have a little look at that whilst I'm waffling on if you would like to. Hang on, I've just realised something. That's normally I set this up to play automatically. Hang on just a moment. I'll tell you what, I'm just going to remove this very, very quickly. And I'm going to press a few buttons in the background because something's not happening right. There we go. That's the reason. That's the reason why. Okay, so if I now do apologise, see, you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. This is what happens. So we press that button and then we go bomb, 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 and then that should be now doing its own thing. Right. Okay. So back in the room. Everton are the opponents. So look. This is not the Everton I remember growing up as a kid. And I don't know if any of you guys are a similar age to me. I'm going to be 49 next month. Now, when I was a kid growing up, Everton were one of the top teams, if not they were the top team in England. Mid-80s there or thereabouts, between 84 and 87, they won the FA Cup, they won 2 league titles, they won the European Cup Winners' Cup. And had it not been for the Heysel incident, they very likely would have won the European Cup in 1986. A lot of people would agree. They were absolutely littered with stars. Neville Southall, Graham Sharp, Kevin Sheedy, Kevin Ratcliffe, etc., etc. Peter Reid. They were absolutely stocked full of internationals. Fast forward to now, the year 2024, and let's be honest, they've been struggling for quite some considerable time. Many years. They've had the odd little period where they've looked half decent. Obviously, there is a certain manager that used to manage both of these clubs, who a lot of people don't like to hear his name uttered. So I'll try not to upset people, but you know the guy I'm talking about. He wasn't with us very long ago, and he actually managed to lift some silverware, bless him. But other than that, they've been a team that struggled. Now, at the minute, they are also struggling. And we sort of look at us and we sort of go, okay, we've got problems. We've spent 150 million in the summer and it hasn't worked. It's all gone a little bit pear-shaped. Thank God I'm not an Everton fan because they're struggling even more than we are. They obviously got beat last week by Southampton. They also had a couple of weeks ago, they were 2-1 up against, I think it was Villa. They were 2-1 up at home. And they were in the 90th minute, and they somehow managed to lose that game by a scoreline of 3-2. Just as I look there, It's gone on to the recent meetings. The game that we played last at Goodison Park, I was actually there for that one. My one and only trip to Goodison Park, which is a stadium that after this season will no longer be a Premier League stadium because they're moving to their big new shiny stadium at Bramley Dock. Looks lovely, but it's I love the old school grounds. I don't know about you. There's something a little bit of nostalgic, a little bit different, proper old school ground, Goodison Park. It was a little bit ramshackle where we were sat, I can't lie, but I quite enjoyed it. But as a club, they're a fantastic club. Absolutely fantastic club. Got a lot of respect for Everton Football Club. This particular incarnation of it is shit, I think is the word I'm looking for. And I think there's probably a lot of Everton fans will agree that the personnel that they've got on the pitch really isn't up to the mark. It's bang average at best, and at worst, it's shit. And like I say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Everton fans. Now, Ricky, it's interesting you mentioned that because I am going to come on to that. And thank you for dropping that into the pot. There are some rumours that were swirling around yesterday, and I believe that the catalyst for it was actually ex-WHU employee. Now, I believe that when X puts something out there, he believes it to be correct. Now, he didn't say that they're out of the game. He just said that there's obviously a fitness concern. Now, I've latterly seen some photographs that are attributed to the West Ham Snapchat, which seem to suggest that Jared Bowen was training on the pitch at London Stadium itself yesterday. Now, we'll wait and see what happens, but I think that probably is good news as far as Jared Bowen's concerned and as far as we're concerned, as far as West Ham's concerned. To Debo, I don't know. That we'll find out an hour and 15 minutes before kickoff. I have a suspicion that we'll see Bowen start. I'm a little bit less certain about Todibo, to be honest with you. Not just because I haven't seen photographs of him on the training pitch like I have with Bowen, but simply because I don't know. I just get the impression that maybe fitness with him is more of something that he's on a knife edge with. And I could be completely wrong with that. But just from the point of view that he obviously came in, he didn't start straight away. And then there was this comment that apparently he's come out and said he's only at 80%, blah, blah, blah. So I do sort of like sit here and think, is he one of these guys that if there's anything slightly amiss with him, that he's not going to quite be the same player? I don't know. But as far as, like I say, getting back to Everton, they're a bang average team. Now, we're going into this, make no mistake, we need the 3 points by hook, by crook, whatever way it comes. I personally, I know I like to go to West Ham and I like to have some sort of entertainment value. I think that when we're in a situation like we are at the minute, we kind of have to put entertainment to one side and sort of just go, do you know what? We just need the 3 points. We need the 3 points to push ourselves up the table, hopefully to get a little bit of confidence and then put us in a better position that the following game, maybe we can try and put a little bit of a sort of couple of consecutive wins together, or at least a couple of matches where we don't get pummeled. Let's put it like that. Because at the minute, it seems to be we win one game and we lose one game. And the games that we win seem to be sort of quite narrow and contentious. And the games that we lose seem to be quite comprehensive. And I do worry that over a period of time, that is going to have a detrimental effect on the confidence of the players and the manager or head coach, whatever you want to call him. That there is the key player for me for Everton Football Club, Dwight McNeil. Now, you might have seen in the previous slide that he's actually got 3 goals, the same as Jared Bowen. He's also got 3 assists, so he's got 6 goal involvements. Now, I have always liked Dwight McNeil. I've always thought he's a pretty decent player. He's a player that plays on the front foot. He's energetic. And he's a player that actually, once upon a time, I'd have been quite happy to see in a claret and blue shirt. He's not at the moment. Well, he was once upon a time. He was obviously at Burnley Football Club. I'm talking about the claret and blue with the crossed hammers on the crest. So I think he's a good player. He's obviously in a good vein of form at the minute. He's, let's say, 6 goal involvements in a team that is somewhere between bang average and shit. Is no mean feat, let me tell you. So I think he's going to be the key man for us. Now, who's the key man for us? Well, Dwight McNeil's the key man for Everton, excuse me. Who's the key man for us? Well, obviously, we don't know what team's going to go out. I mean, is Jared Bowen injured? I don't know. Is Tadibo injured? I don't know. What's the manager thinking? I don't know. These are all imponderables. I mean, you're going to see the team that I would put out in a minute. And again, it might cause a little bit of a stir. And I don't expect that it's a team that will see the light of day under Lopetegui. I really don't. But it's the team that I would like to see. And I'll explain my reasons when it comes up. But yeah, the key man for me, I think, is probably going to be, surprisingly enough, Guido Rodriguez, because I think he needs to obviously come in and really sort of like step into the shoes of Alvarez and tough tackling and all. And look, in terms of his tackling output, as you can see there, it's pretty respectable. The thing that concerns me, and I think a lot of people are concerned by it, is obviously his pace or his lack of it in the Premier League. You can get away with being a little bit one-paced in La Liga and maybe in international football as well. In the Premier League, not so much. Not so much. So some way, somehow, and not all players rely upon pace, it has to be said, but the players that don't rely upon pace, what they use to compensate is they use their game management. They use their anticipation to be in the right place at the right time, sort of thing, rather than sort of having to use pace to get them out of the shit. So he will need to use that attribute. He'll need to sort of anticipate things in advance of them happening to get the best possible outcome. And now it'll be interesting to see what midfield that Lopetegui picks, because I think that's the area where most of us look and go, we've got a problem there. Now, this is what I would go with. Now, the goalkeeper and the back four, providing they're fit, in the case of Tadibo, yes, probably does pick itself. Rodriguez and Souček, this is what I would do. Like I say, I don't suspect this will see the light of day. But, and I've said this for a couple of weeks now, and I've not changed it from the Forest game. It's exactly the same 11, which we didn't see then. We're probably not going to see now, but I'd like to see it. I would put Andy Irving in the number 10 position. Now, there is an argument to be said, actually, maybe Lewis Orford could play there. I don't know whether the under-21s played last night. I don't know whether he played last night. You'll have to forgive me on that one. But like I say, he's a young kid. I mean, could he play 2 games consecutively like that? I don't see why not. But like I say, it's not going to happen, so it's a moot point. Like I say, this is purely the 11 I would like to see. I'd like to see things shaken up. I'd like to see things change, because let's be honest, what we've done up to this point hasn't exactly been a rip-roaring success. Let me just press a button and I'll just go back to that. Hang on. Right, okay. So I'm just going to pause that there. Yeah, I mean, look, my thinking is, when I've seen Andy Irving, pre-season friendlies and the odd sort of bit where he's come off as a substitutes bench, it's been very fleeting. But you know what? He's always given everything, and that's all you can ask of someone. I think he's a guy that will be very grateful that he's got an opportunity at a Premier League club, and I think he will bust a gut to show the best version of himself. And do you know what I've been very disappointed with this season is that there have been a number of players, and you've seen them as well as I have, who have just basically not put everything into it. I've got no problem if you're having a poor game, but put a little bit of effort and a little bit of passion into it. And there are players that I don't see that are doing that this season. Paqueta being one of them. I'll say it out here. I think he's been a shadow of himself. Yes, okay, maybe there's a mitigating factor with him in terms of what's going on off the pitch. But if you're crossing that white line, if you're on the grass, then you're playing a Premier League game. Then you've got to put that to one side for 90 minutes, and you've got to find a way to get the very best out of yourself. And he hasn't done it. So that's why, if I was picking the team, he'd find himself on the bench. Now, do I expect that probably Lopetegui will name him in his starting 11? Yeah, he probably will. I don't think he should, but I think he probably will. But Andy Irving or Lewis Orford, I think one of those two playing in that position. And the thing with putting Irving there, or Orford in actual fact, is they could sort of like interchange with Thomas Soucek, sort of on occasions. You could have Thomas Soucek dropping back and helping Rodriguez. And then when the time comes, you could have Thomas Soucek maybe getting forwards to get on the end of crosses and cause a little bit of chaos in the box, with Irving/Orford dropping alongside Rodriguez to replace him. Like I say, I do not expect this 11 to see the light of day under Julen Lopetegui. I really do not. But this is the 11 I would go for. Now, I'd be really interested to see any of you guys, and they've got 19 of you watching at the minute live. Get us your 11 in the live chat. Get your 11 in formation, personnel. Even if it's as unlikely to see the light of day as the one that I've put there, which I know is not going to be the team that takes to the pitch today. I know it's not. But as I say, this particular point is, what would I pick if I was in charge? So what would you pick if you was in charge? Get it out there and we'll get stuck into it. But yeah, I mean, so I've obviously get what my 11 is. I've let you know what I think the key players are for both teams. I guess we probably got to come on to the score prediction now, which is obviously always very difficult because we don't know the teams that are going to be involved. Obviously, we don't know that if Bowen and or Todibo will feature. We don't even know any sort of like problems that Everton might have. But I will just go into that just in case anybody is of interest, sort of like of what injury news or suspension news that they have, and I'll also mention ours. Obviously, we know Edson Alvarez is going to be out, hence why he wasn't in my starting 11. Obvious. I think most of you probably know that, but I'll just go over it. Kudus obviously is still serving the ban, which has obviously since had an extra 2 games put on it. That's not really a shock to me. I think it was coming. I think it's probably deserved, if I'm being brutally honest. I know you could then point at some other instances and say, well, what about that? And I think, yeah, there might be a case to answer there, but I think that becomes a little bit diversionary tactics, smoke and mirrors. At the end of the day, he lost his head and he probably needed to get at least another game ban, maybe 2, and that's what he's got. And as for the the one and only German that's unreliable, that we've managed to pay 25 odd million quid and get him in the fucking door, only we could do that. Only we could take a player. And people say he had an unblemished injury record for 2 years before we bought him. But if you look prior to that, his injury record was pretty sort of patchy. But it's typical, isn't it? We have managed to do spend that sort of money on a player, and he's played on the pitch probably about 50 minutes, I think it is, over a couple of substitute appearances. I think he started against Bournemouth in the cup from memory, and we've barely seen him since. He's got injured. We haven't seen him from one international break to the next, and it looks like we're not going to see him until after the next, and who knows, it might not even be until 2025. I mean, that is just so West Ham. It is ridiculous. The one and only German who is unreliable, and we've managed to shell that amount of money on him. Nicholas Fuckleg, still not available. Anyway, so let's move on to Everton. Do you know what? I'm looking at this thing here from the injury doubts, and there's a player here whose name I'm going to try and pronounce it. Tim Iroegbunam. Mate, I've probably mangled his surname, and if any of his relatives are watching, I do apologise. Much easier to pronounce, though. James Garner, Youssef Chermiti, Armando Broya, according to this website that I'm looking at, they are all out, and Abdoulaye Doucouré is also a doubt for Everton Football Club. So with that in mind, my score prediction today, I think it's going to be a tough watch, if I'm being honest. I think this is not going to be a game for the purists. I think that this is going to be a real tough watch. Morning, Mandy. Hope you're well. But I do think we're going to find a way. Yeah, I was just discussing that, Mandy. Yeah. It's like I say, we're the only ones that could have done it. I'll get into your team in a sec, Ricky. So I think it's going to be a real. Like I say, I don't necessarily require to be entertained today. The situation that we're in, I think, is like I say, sometimes you have to be a little bit realistic, a little bit pragmatic, and go, do you know what? Yes, it would be great to get entertained and win, but the situation that we're in at the minute, a win is absolutely imperative. I don't believe that a draw is enough. I think that a draw is a better point for them than it is for us. That's for sure. So with that in mind, I think that 3 points is imperative. I think that 3 points is an absolute must, and anything less than that will leave me disappointed. And I'm not particularly bothered how entertaining the game is. I am therefore going to predict, and I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet because I don't think that we're strong enough to do so. So I do think Everton will breach our defence at least once in the 90 minutes that takes place at London Stadium today. However, having said that, I do think that we will be able, over 90 minutes, to fashion one or two decent opportunities ourselves, and that we will be able to put them past Jordan Pickford, who is a goalkeeper that obviously he's been England's goalkeeper for a good few years, big tournament experience, big match experience, played in the Premier League for many years. And I think he's a really good goalkeeper. I think he's one of their true top class players. I don't think they've got many. And that's probably the reason they are where they are and why they have been where they are for a good while. But I think that we're going to be able to just grind it out and maybe even shithouse it. Who knows? So I'm going to say it's 2-1. 2-1 to West Ham United. Now, if you guys want to get your score predictions in the live chat, you're more than welcome to do so. Ricky comes in with his team, and he's picked a team on the basis of if Bowen and Tadibo are missing. So he's gone Fabianski, Kufau. Oh, okay. Dinos, Kilman, Emerson, Guido, Souček, Wan-Bissaka. So are you moving Wan-Bissaka into midfield? Right wing. Okay, interesting. Okay. Aaron Wan-Bissaka right wing. Somerville's going to be left wing then. Paqueta's going to be... Hang on a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. Sorry, I was just looking. Have you done 10 then? You haven't. You've done 11. So you've got Kufau, Dinos, Kilman, Emerson as the back four. Guido and Souček sitting. Wan-Bissaka on the right. Somerville on the left. Paqueta at the number 10. And Antonio up top. Okay. And you also asked the question, is this actually a day we score from a corner? As we've not even looked closely so far this season. And everybody was having a go at James Ward-Prowse, weren't they? He's left and we still ain't any fucking good at it. So, Adrian, good morning. Hope you are well. A game I am happy not to attend today. 2 poor teams, lack of atmosphere, overpriced beer. What else is new? It's been like that since we moved there in 2016 a lot of the time. Let's be honest, Adrian. No change there. I really hope it's not 0-0, mate. I hope that we're at least 1 goal ahead of them. I really do, because otherwise we're not going to get the 3 points. And as I say, I think they're absolutely imperative, my friend. But anyway, right. I think I'm going to wrap it up there, unless anybody else wants to put anything in the live chat that I can drill down into. But failing that, then I feel that my time is up, and I'm going to disappear and commence doing other things and start getting ready for the match and going up there myself. If any of you that are watching this, either live or latterly, happen to see me, don't be scared to pop over and say hello and introduce yourself. It'd be really nice to say hello and see what's what. Could we do a team comparison? How do you mean, Mandy? A team comparison? You may have missed a little bit earlier. I was talking about the merits of the teams. I mean, Everton sort of like a team that... Oh, hello. You've been sitting there in the background, keeping quiet. Where have you been? Is that you, Nick? I'm guessing it's you, Nick. When you say a great shoe, though, I'm guessing that's a typo. I'm guessing that's a typo. Whoa, hold on. Cooking Brekkie. Hello, full English. full English? What? Right. Okay. Right. Fuck the football talk. That can go, right? Tell me. What is your breakfast, Nick? Come on. I reckon. Let's see. Is it anything? Is there any? Because you're not. I'm pretty sure you're not vegan. I'm pretty sure that this is not going to be lots of greenery and all that tofu and whatever. So I reckon you're going to go bacon, eggs, sausages, beans. They're your staples. They've got to be on the plate, Nick. They have got to be on the plate. Do you know what? I love a bit of bubble and squeak. Bubble and squeak, mushrooms. What else can we put on there? Black pudding. Hash browns. Hash browns could be quite good. What else do we reckon? What else can go on that plate? And I hope you're cooking it for the missus as well. Let me also get that in. You know, she works bloody hard Monday to Friday. You know, all the dogs running round and everything. So, yeah, hopefully you're well, and we'll have to sort out doing another dog walk, mate. We'll have to sort that out. So, anyway, I am going to disappear. All this chat about breakfast and whatever, it's making me hungry again. I always get a little bit peckish when someone mentions food. So anyway, right. I'm going to press that button and get rid of that. So, right, I'm going to disappear. I've got my cup of tea here, which I'm going to plow away at. Get ready for the football. And, yeah, hopefully 3 points. If he doesn't get 3 points today, playing a bang average to shit Everton team, and we're the home team, if he cannot get the 3 points, I think he's got to go. In fact, I've been thinking he's got to go for about the last week or so, in all honesty. But if he cannot turn over a very, very poor Everton team at home, he's got to go. El Pratador must go. It's as simple as that for me. And even if he shithouses it, I'm still not entirely convinced that that's enough for people to really sort of turn around and say, okay, let's give him another 3 games. The classic 3 game scenario. The classic sort of, oh yeah, he's got 3 games to save his job. And then somewhere in that 3 games, he manages to shithouse a win, and then we reset it. Yeah, that doesn't work for me. Short-term thinking. But there you go. Anyway, right, I'm going to disappear. If you have enjoyed this, please don't forget to like, comment on, and share this stream to your socials. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you are new around here. And don't forget to hit the bell icon for alerts and new content. Remember, all these things that you can do are a couple of seconds of your time. They don't cost you anything, and they help to grow the channel into something bigger and better than it finds itself at the moment. And I thank you very much indeed for your support. Nick, enjoy your breakfast, mate, and I'll speak to you in a bit. The rest of you guys and reprobates and boys and girls and fellow hammers, come on, you irons. Don't forget to give your support to the Iron Supporting Food Banks charity. We'll see you next time.
Iron Supporting Food Banks collects food and cash donations for needy families in Newham Borough and beyond. Please consider making a donation via their Just Giving page, the link for which you will find in the description section of this stream. Come on, you irons.
West Ham are massive,